Hi guys, today we'll be learning how to cage a plunge neckline. First is to draw your caging lines ranging from your underbust, your bust point, your overbust as much as you want it to be. Then you start by caging the overbust, then you take it down to your waistline or your blouse length. The next thing is your underbust. If you notice, you will see that I am sewing from one end of my caging for this underbust and the overbust. The reason is because I will be inserting other bonings inside to get a neat finishing. Next is to cage the center line. If you notice, you will see that my boning is coming from inside the overbust boning. Reason is because of the neat finishing I talked about. Then this one, I'm passing it through to my blouse length, and it's totally optional. You can decide to stop it at the underbust and maybe pass it under the boning at the underbust. And at the hemline, I finished it up with a masking tape to get a neat finishing. Then I sewed the other line. Then these are my boning lines that I'm sewing. You sew this, you sew the other side, and after each stitch you make sure that you trim any excess thread that is on it to make sure you get a very neat finishing. So this is what we have. I'm sewing all my boning channels, that is my vertical lines. After my vertical lines, I sewed my horizontal line. Then this line now is at the midpoint of, that is my bust point, my actual bust point. So for the bust size you are working with, you can decide to add extra boning up and down depending on the bust size that you are caging. So after everything, you will now close up those parts that you left open when you started caging, because you are already done with the lines that you have at the middle. So this is what you have at one end. So after caging, you make sure that you trim all the threads that is there to make sure that your caging line is very neat. Then after that, you continue with the other end. And also remember that whenever you are caging this midpoint, you have to be caging it carefully so that you will not pack the fabric. It will not, so that the back part of the fabric will not fold, because if it folds, it will not cup very well. So I'm caging the other cup, and I'm doing exactly the same thing I did, following my caging channels and the lines that I already drew. I remember I said only the overbust and the underbust are to be open at one end so that you can be inserting other ones for to get a neat finishing. So at the end of the day, this is what I have. This is my bust point area. So after that I will now have my end result and trim off all the excess threads that I have, and look at what we have at the end of the day. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.